All right. Hello,
Solid,
everybody.
solid group. A lot of people on here. I'm talking about some new faces.
Absolutely. Where's everybody calling in from? My favorite part about these calls.
Mhm. Boston,
Austin.
Boston, Mass, Ontario. All right. Who can beat that? Who's further than Ontario? Chattanooga, Colorado.
Nova Scotia.
Oh, so let's go. True North.
Love.
Well, strong and free. You're definitely free.
Right. This is awesome. I love when people are like, I'm coming in from all over the place at all times of day. And I appreciate you all for making some time to spend a little bit of time, an hour of your time with us as we go over a topic that we love to talk about. We want to share some information with you guys as you move forward. Is this anybody's first call with Hidden Summit? That's what I want to know. Who's newbie? Yeah, at Sam. Amanda just shouting somebody out. Let's go, Amanda.
Technically me.
What's up? How are you? I'm glad you made it.
Thank you.
Yeah, pumped you're here. First of many, I hope. Amazing. So everybody else is returning. Come back for more. I love it. So we do a lot of different webinars, and one of the things we want to go through today is action. And there's this inability to take action. And oftentimes, would you guys say that you are the root cause of that inability to take action? Yes or no? I need to see some action in the chat. Like, I got a lot of like moving people and a lot of nobody on screen. So let's get loud in here. Okay. And do you think that if you were able to cut out this overthinking and start achieving more, that your life might change for the better? Yes or no? Hell yes. That's what I'm talking about. And I have just the person to talk to you about that. You guys know me for the most part. My name is Cavan, but who you may not know as well is my brother Derek. And it's really hard for me to introduce him because he just does a better job of introducing himself.
Hmm.
But he's someone you're going to want to fucking pay attention to tonight, because if anybody on this call had an inkling or a thought of, yes, I step in my own way and I, push myself in the wrong direction from achieving what I want in life, I want to welcome my brother Derek to the chat. So, welcome, Derek. I'm going to let you take it from here. Start this thing off by introducing yourself.
All right. All right. Well, like Kevin said, I am Derek, his brother. Um, Background, a little bit about me is, well, I'm from Long Island. I grew up a regular kid, played sports, made some trouble around the neighborhood, had some loving parents, great siblings, good family. Um, Went to college, tried it all out. None of it worked for me. So from there, I took a leap of faith and I went into the military because it had always been something I wanted to do. All right, I wanted to test myself. I wanted to see what I was capable of. And from there, I became a Navy SEAL. Through that training, I learned a lot about myself. I learned what I was capable of, things that I never thought was possible. And from that experience, there are things that I learned that I would now like to share. And that is the point of why we are all here tonight. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about overthinking. I want to talk to you about how to take action and how to get out of your own head, how to make progress in your life. So that's what Cavan and I are going to do tonight. How does everybody feel about that?
You guys pumped for that?
I'm sure all
Go for it. I was gonna say, how often do you get to listen to a Navy SEAL who's dealt with some shit, impossible shit for most of us, who wants to come here and spend his time with you to figure out how you can get it straight up here? Ever? No? Well, I want you to pay attention. If you like taking notes, take notes. So I'm going to send you the recording afterwards so you can have it and review it as often as you like. Okay? Be present. If you write anything down, write down your questions at the end, for the end. We're going to go over a lot. We're going to go over problem with overthinking, consequences of overthinking, strategies and solutions about overthinking, positive outcomes when we overcome overthinking, and the benefits of implementing solutions that surround overthinking. Do you guys want to learn about that tonight? Yes or no in the chat. I can't see all your faces. You know that, right? There's 3 pages here. Okay. You're with me. Amazing. So make sure you stick around for the end, because if you know Derek and I and the team at Hidden Summit, may just have something for you. Something you don't want to miss out on. Sound good? Yes? Okay. You're up.
All right, let's get this thing started. So, as you all know, the topic of tonight's conversation is, well, overthinking to overachieving, getting out of our own heads and taking action. So, the first, what we're going to start off with is the problem with overthinking and the impacts that it can have on you. One of the first things overthinking can lead to be problematic is mental paralysis. So overthinking can lead to inaction and missed opportunity, right? It leads to being stuck in your own head, leads to not doing anything. It leads to being stagnant. All right. So one time I can remember where I have an example for you guys. It was during a training exercise where we were conducting an L ambush. All right. Simply one team was set, the other team was flanking in from the left. And well, first off, when we train these situations, we start off safe. First, we do no ammo, then we move to blanks, and then we move to live fire. So we're doing this with live ammo. All right. So we had already worked our way up to live ammo. So pretty much at this point, if you fuck up, there are dire consequences. Legitimately, you can kill somebody. So training exercise is being conducted. I am sitting there in the dark with night vision on. Everybody's shooting. There are lasers going all over. And I noticed that the hinge man isn't doing his job. And what that means is he's pretty much needs to let everybody else know when to shift their fire so that we don't shoot the people walking past us, our own teammates. I noticed he was not doing his job correctly. He was just sitting there. I don't know if he got caught up in the action or whatever it may have been, but he wasn't doing it properly. I was a new guy at the time. So I'm still figuring this out for myself. And I got worried that I was like, I'm not going to speak up over the radio because what if I'm wrong? This guy must know what he's doing because he was an older guy. He was not a new guy. So I sit there and I'm just thinking to myself, well, maybe I should say something. Maybe I shouldn't say something. And it turned into me not saying anything at all. And luckily, somebody else was also paying attention. They spoke up. They got the guys to do the right thing. Nobody got killed. But that being said, if this was real life and nobody noticed, but I did, and I didn't take action because I was scared or in my own head, and this mental overthought caused to paralysis, it could have led to somebody getting seriously hurt. So because I overthought, I froze and I did nothing. And ultimately, it could have led to very, very bad consequences. This can be a situation in all of our lives. All right. It doesn't have to be as dramatic, but thinking too much can lead to inaction, which can lead to things not going the way you want them to or the way they should. So that is a huge problem with overthinking. Another problem when it comes to overthinking Energy drain. All right. Overthinking takes a huge toll on one's mental and emotional well-being. It leads to stress, anxiety, and eventually burnout. We only have so much energy. It needs to be used correctly. Whether you know it or not, thinking uses energy. So my life in the teams, well, as a SEAL, had very, very long days. All right. And they require a lot of energy. You wake up early enough before the day starts to get your workout in. If you're really motivated, you wake up even earlier so that you can work out and then go shoot and then prep your gear. And then the day starts. Then when the day starts, it's filled with training, it's filled with meetings, it's filled with computer work, it's filled with more training. And then after work, you need to go then practice what you learned in training, study up on it, clean the gear you used in training, and then hopefully find time, if there is any, for any personal tasks that need to get done. Now, can you imagine if you spent any of that extra or that needed energy on overthinking, where you were just stuck in your head and not actually getting things done? How much more tired you'd actually be if you sat there and just stressed yourself out over, oh, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. Instead of just doing it, it wastes a lot of energy. And like I said, it could lead to stress. It could lead to burnout. It could lead to major anxiety. So you need to get out of your own head so that you can save the energy that you have and use it productively. Now, a third problem, it reduces productivity. So pretty much staying in the same place, doing nothing can hinder efficiency and output. All right. Have you ever made a to-do list and not followed through with it? Well, overthinking doesn't really get the work done. Before you go out the door on a mission, you have a lot of things that you need to check off on the checklist. All right. And those things need to get done. If you overthink making that list or spend too much time working on just one of those tasks, you may get delayed. And then getting delayed leads to not going out on the mission. Okay. Because everything's not done. And if you don't go out on the mission, you let your team down, you ultimately fail. All right. And nobody wants to let terrorism win. So let's get our checklists done, people. All right. A fourth thing that overthinking can lead to is relationship strain. All right. The ways in which overthinking can create misunderstanding and tensions in personal and professional relationships. Whether we know it or not, if we overthink relationships, it can lead to bad things because we don't take action on what needs to get done. So when you're on deployment, you spend a lot of time with your teammates, right? If you have an issue with someone and you don't speak up, you may get in your own head about whether or not to trust them. And if you don't trust someone in combat, you can't perform to the best of your ability and you put lives at risk. I remember specifically, there was this one dude who I did not get along with. He was superior to me. So I had to listen to what he had to say, but he just rubbed me the wrong way. I have my reasons, but that's not the point. He trained well. He deserved to be there. He was a hardworking guy, I guess. But anyway, the fact that I didn't like this guy, it led me to not working well with him. I bit my tongue. I never spoke up. There was tension between us. When we finally deployed, I avoided working with him as much as possible. All right. Because I avoided him, I was doing a disservice to my teammates. All right. Because I avoided him, I was now causing a weak link in the chain. All right. I realized this not too long ago that all of this could have been solved with a simple conversation, but overthinking stopped me from having that conversation. I thought, oh my God, what if I say something and because he's my superior, he goes out of his way, to stop me from going out the door, doing missions, whatever it may be, giving me extra work. All of these little things that I overthought probably would never have happened if I just spoke up to him like an adult, like a mature adult, and had the conversation like, hey, this is what the deal is. This is how I feel this way. Can we work it out? Because believe it or not, most people are willing to have that conversation. All right. So again, overthinking, the problems with it can lead to mental paralysis. All right. It causes you to not act at all. It can lead to energy drain. It stresses you out, gives you anxiety, and eventually you burn out. It reduces productivity. You do not get things done because you're too stagnant and stuck in your own head. And then finally, it brings about strain on relationships. We all have relationships in our lives. I'm sure we all have significant others or have had significant others. We know that if we think about a problem or overthink about a problem, it then can further that problem. So These are all problems that come with overthinking. Next up, Cavan is going to talk to you about the consequences of not addressing this overthinking.
All right. So we have the problems, now we have the consequences. And Derek went into some of the consequences as a Navy SEAL. Anyone else on this call a Navy SEAL? Okay. So you take really extreme examples and you can really understand what the problem is with overthinking, right? Yes, you with me? Move your head. Okay, I love it. Shocker, I'm not a Navy SEAL. Okay, so I'm going to bring some real life examples that maybe you guys can resonate with. Okay, so consequence number one of overthinking is stagnation. What is the definition of stagnation? I wrote it down over here so I don't fuck it up. The state of not flowing or moving. So if we have blocked drains resulting in water stagnation, what do we get? Who wants to guess in the chat? Somebody. Water back up. Enough water backed up leads to potentially some flooding. There we go. Anybody like flooding in their life? No. Okay, let's take it up a level. Blood clot vessels associated with stagnation of blood. What does that lead to? Heart attack, potentially death.
Game over. Correct.
So why are we, y'all admitted to it before, why are we so stagnant with our life and our decisions that we make? If all of these situations that have to do with stagnation turn out being slightly negative, like a stinky toilet, or extremely negative, like death, what happens when we're stagnant with our life and the decisions that we don't make? Well, the truth is, first off, have anybody heard that the term life isn't fair? Okay, I say this all the time. The truth is, life is as fair as you make it. Okay. And what I mean is, whatever you put into life is what you're going to receive. So if you're not putting a decision in to take action, your life's not going to move in a positive direction. Although, does anybody on this call not want their life to move in a positive direction? Something tells me that's not the truth. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So tell me, how would you define the ideal human in a couple of words? Put it in there. See what you got. Motivated. I love it. Bethany, good word. Strong. Okay. Successful. Happy and healthy. Courageous. Well, I put very similar words here. None of you are wrong. This isn't a right or wrong answer. But what about tough, patient, and positive? Can we agree with that? Makes for a pretty stellar human. So if you want to be tough, would you give that person a super chill life to be considered tough? Would you not throw them any adversity? If Derek mentioned none of those things that he just mentioned before, would you think Navy SEALs are really tough? If they just got to hang out all day and not do all those things that make it so challenging? If you wanted a person to be patient, would you get everything right away? Or would you have to work for it? Possibly even for a very long time, but earn it in the long run. Probably makes for a more patient person, right? If you wanted a positive person, they would need a strong understanding of gratitude. In 2008, I weighed 300 pounds. I was failing out of school, and I lived in a futon in my parents' basement. I would surround myself with my friends and make enough cash so I can, working in a restaurant, so I can go buy beer, even drugs, every night. From 2005 to 2008, I looked like this. I became a creature of habit that yielded diminishing returns, meaning I was stagnant. I fell into this cycle of life's not fair, although I was the one who chose to do these things. Before this, though, I felt on top of the world and I could do anything. Anybody ever been there before? Anybody remember the last time they were like, I can do anything? Like a child who pretends to be a superhero. Or when Derek and I were younger and we used to play spy. We thought we were James Bond or cowboys. It didn't matter. We were on top of the world. But at some point along the way, we choose to just say, like, well, I am where I am, and that's enough. That inability to make a decision leads to stagnation, which is a consequence of overthinking. Now, whether it be the people we surround ourselves with or the bullshit that we listen to from people that are supposed to care for us, none of those people or the circumstances really get to determine where you are but you. So the second thing that's a consequence is declining mental health, chronic stress and anxiety leading to more severe mental health issues. And I resonate with this a lot. Anybody else resonate with this? Anybody ever deal with like this emotional overload of stress or anxiety, deal with the inability of making a decision positively or staying exactly where you are in a place of stagnation? Oh my God, yes, Melissa, yes. Okay. I believe the life I was living was the life I was supposed to have or always going to have at that point. Like it was like, oh, I guess this is just how it goes in college.
Yummy.
Hey, Heaven, you're on mute duty. My poor, my poor choices led me to being indecisive on positive decisions. And regardless of, the cigarettes, alcohol, and sedentary lifestyle were making me feel like garbage, it felt easier to do that than to deal with the stress itself and changing for the better. It was easier for me, let me repeat, it was easier for me to stay exactly where I was doing these negative things than to physically change my life for the positive because it was too hard. Anybody resonate with that one? This can also affect your career, having career setbacks. For me, the time of my career was school, aka I had a 0.5 GPA, which is really hard to do if anybody's ever tried. Like that's just not going to class, but choosing to go to one sometimes. Career setbacks, school setbacks, life setbacks, reduced efficiency and productivity hindering professional growth, life growth. This led me to failing out of school. I was a straight, as Derek, I was a straight A student in high school. It was easy for me. Okay. So I failed out of school, transferred to community college. Guess what? I continued my stagnant lifestyle in community college and failed a whole nother semester. New environment, same consequences. Just because you change where you are or who you're with doesn't necessarily mean you're going to change you. Which led me to feeling, which is our last topic of this section of consequences, isolated. Leaning into the strained relationships of what could happen. It did happen to me. Even though I felt I had friends in this situation, I was alone. The funny thing is my inability to act and allowing my mind to dictate my lifestyle, it kept me close to these individuals who weren't serving me. Anybody ever have a friend in their life who like you just can't get rid of for some reason, but like they don't do anything positive for you? Or someone you're in a relationship with? Or a family member? It's hard. I lost connection with my family, the people that actually gave a shit about me. I lost relationships with people who actually wanted me to do better because I would constantly overthink and care about what the other people thought versus what I thought about myself. So I want you guys to understand that these consequences of stagnation, declining mental health, career setbacks, and isolation will happen when we stay stuck in our head and have this inability to take action. Now, I don't want this call to be super negative. So who wants to hear about some of the solutions and the benefits that go with getting away from overthinking? Yes, somebody? Amazing. Well, you guys want some more Navy SEAL stories? Okay. Pass it back to Derek. Let's turn this thing up for the positive. Now that we know what not to do, what the fuck are we going to do, man?
So, listen, like we just said, there's a positive side to this. All right. Now, I spoke about the problems before: mental paralysis, energy drain, reduced productivity, and relationship strain. Is there anybody here that doesn't deal with any of those things? Raise your hand in the chat if you don't deal with any of those things, because I might turn the mic over to you so you can tell everybody how it's done. But I have a feeling most people, in some shape or form, deal with this every now and then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some techniques and some solutions, some ideas that can help you when you find yourself dealing with these problems. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about, the first solution, is a mindfulness technique. All right. So a practical exercise that you can use to ground yourself to be present in the moment. All right. And reduce the spiraling of overthinking. So in other words, an exercise or something you can do that gets you out of your own head. I like to call it the take a step back method. And that's exactly what it sounds like. You're going to find a way to take a step back from the situation you're in. So here's a little story. First time I was ever given night vision, and I had to conduct an op in the middle of the night that involved machine gun fire, rifle fire, lasers everywhere, listening to comms chatter, remembering my specific role, and all while doing it with no peripheral vision was pretty overwhelming. And I was completely overwhelmed, if I'm being honest. But before I gave up and freaked out, which very easily could have happened because you feel like you're in another world and you're lost and you have no control over anything, I took a step back. Literally, I stopped. I checked up my rifle. I took a breath. I leaned backwards. I started looking around. I told myself to relax. I focused on my breathing. All right. I actually pinched myself. I rubbed my hands in the dirt. I felt my face. I had to take a second to realize what exactly was going on, where I was, and what I was supposed to be doing. Once I did that, once I realized that the world wasn't going to end for me taking a breath, I was able to get back in the fight. All right. So taking a step back, taking me out of my surroundings to figure out why I was in my own head was the best thing I could have done to get back into the real world. So what I'm saying is sometimes in order to move forward, we need to take a step back. We need to get perspective. We need to breathe, realize where we are, and that way we can dive back in. All right. I'm sure some of us feel overwhelmed more often than not when we get something dropped on our desk, for instance, maybe at work, a task that you have no idea how to do, and your boss is like, get this done for me. Thanks. See you later. And you're like, whoa, what the hell am I supposed to do now? Take a breath, take a step back, realize the world's not going to end, figure out what you could do and dive back in. You need to ground yourself. All right. Next little tip is taking an action-oriented approach. All right. So pretty much steps to break tasks into manageable actions, reducing the overwhelming feeling that you get that leads to overthinking. So in other words, you need to make a plan. All right. You know what it is that you need to get done. This is the time for the thinking, but it's not overthinking. It's productive thinking, actually setting yourself up for success. So you have to go out of your way to think about how you can act and then create a step-by-step plan or guide, whatever you want to call it, that you can easily follow to get your tasks accomplished. All right. So when you go through BUDS, I don't know if any of you guys know what that is. It's basic underwater demolition SEAL training. It's the first thing you pretty much need to do in order to become a SEAL. It's the training portion. It's where you get your nuts kicked in and day out for 6 months. All right. There's 3 phases to it, and each phase is roughly about 2 months long. And the second phase 2, is called dive phase. And it's focused on learning how to scuba dive and do things underwater. A major part of this phase, there's a test that requires there's 8 tests, 8 underwater scuba tests that you have to pass. And each test requires you to follow a step-by-step action plan, where if you deviate from that plan in any way whatsoever, you actually fail. The point of the test is to be able to follow procedure step by step and not drown. So, like I said, the only way to get through this test is to make sure that you know the plan. If you stop thinking about the plan, or worse, overthink the plan, you will fail and possibly drown. But if you follow the plan that is made step by step and just take action like you practiced, then you will make it through and you will pass and you will not drown. So creating a plan makes it so that you don't have to think in the moment. You know what you need to do. The plan is there, so you don't have to worry about anything else but what needs to get done. There's no need to overthink because the thinking has already been done for you. So plan. As we like to say, plan your dive, dive your plan. That's it. Another thing that we can help solve the overthinking dilemma is the feedback. The importance of seeking external perspectives to gain clarity and reduce internal rumination. In other words, ask people. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We can think about it all day and all night, and we still won't get anywhere because we simply just don't know. This is why at times we need to seek external perspectives. We need to ask others. We need to ask family, friends, mentors, bosses, teammates. Look, ask Google if you have to. Just ask somebody. You don't know. So it doesn't matter, right? Go look for some help. Just ask the question that you find yourself stuck on and stop thinking about it. All right. Let someone else do the thinking for you. I can't tell you how many times as a new guy, like once I got to my SEAL team, that I just didn't know what to do. I mean, I didn't even know where to find certain people that I was told to go find. Where the hell is your office? I literally just got here. I don't know. All right. And I could have sat around and thought about doing these things all day. It never would have solved the problem. So I had to ask for help. This is one of the easiest things you guys can do if you find yourself overthinking. Just stop thinking, ask somebody else and let them do the thinking for you. All right. You're not supposed to do everything on your own. So don't be scared to ask for help. It makes life so much easier. Another thing we do is visualize. All right. Visualization techniques using mental imagery to focus on positive outcomes and reduces the fear of failure. All right. I like to call this having vision. All right. Being able to see what it is you need to get done before you do it. This came in huge for me throughout firearms training. All right. We would run drills all day sometimes, some complex, some simple. But if I was able to clearly envision myself completing these drills step by step before I actually did them, I would do 10 times better and I'd be 10 times more efficient because I saw it happening. I didn't have to think as much in the moment because I had already seen it happen. I visualized it. All right. You believe that you are capable of completing the task at hand, all right, and be able to envision it before it's done. This is something that will give you confidence and therefore lead to you being able to act and stop with overthinking. I use this technique daily. I promise you, for almost everything I do. I see myself doing it and then I get it done. It makes it so much easier to complete a task when you've already done it in your head. You're like, oh, I can do that. I just did it over here. Another thing we can all do, and I'm pretty guilty of this one, but it helps when I do it correctly, is time management. All right, setting dedicated times for reflection and or decision making to make it easier in the moment. All right, saves energy. You don't have to worry about what it is you need to get done. It's already planned out for you. All right. So giving yourself a schedule can be huge. All right. This does multiple things for you. For starters, creating a schedule immediately gives you a deadline. When there's a deadline, a sense of urgency is created. And therefore, well, for me, at least, I find that a flame gets ignited. You know, it's kind of like, oh shit, I need to get this done. Let me get going. When you know something needs to get done, you're much more likely to finish it as opposed to thinking, I don't really need to do that. You might not ever get started. So give yourself a deadline. That helps. Schedule also helps to show you what exactly it is you need to get done, what you are going to get done. It'll help show you where time is being spent properly and where you're wasting your time on things that aren't necessary. And there's no point in wasting your time. So a schedule helps mitigate that lost time. Schedule can also bring you peace of mind, knowing exactly when you will work and when you can rest. As I mentioned, you only have so much energy. The rest portion of your life is necessary. You will burn out if you don't take rest. And I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally as well. If you're always thinking, you're not resting. So schedule out when you get to rest. If you schedule out when you get to work, you've earned that rest. So rest. It's nice knowing that a rest is coming. Like when I was going through training, doesn't matter what part of training it was, we knew we were getting a meal at some point, and that meal was a beacon of hope and light for everybody because they're like, we're gonna get to rest. And that schedule of knowing that that was coming was amazing because we could work our asses off all day because we knew we were going to get that meal. We weren't going to burn out because we knew we were going to get the chance to eventually rest. So let yourself know that you're going to get the chance to rest. Create that schedule. It gives you the ability to get out of your own way if you know you can rest. All right. What else we got? Lastly, last thing I got is just, well, everything we just went over is a tool you can use. All right. So if you find yourself having negative thought patterns, you just need to go back, look at all the things I just gave you, and choose from one of those things to get out of your own head. All right. We all have the voice in our head that tells us we can't really do it as well of a job as we want to do. And the way I get over that little negative voice is by just taking action. So whether it's creating a schedule, whether it's taking a step back to get perspective, whether it's visualization, whatever it may be, all of these things help mitigate that negative voice inside my head, which I'm sure if I deal with it, a lot of other people are dealing with it too. So if you find that negative voice creeping in, use one of the tools we just spoke about. It's going to help you. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. So now, when it comes to solutions for getting out of your own head, that's pretty much what we got for you right now. Now, that being said, do any of those things sound like it's too complicated or too complex to do on your own? Do you guys think that you can do that? Even just one of them, like make a schedule or, take action, make a plan when you don't know what to do, ask for help, maybe. Any of these things they're not complicated techniques. I'm not a smart guy. I'm not, but I found ways to help move me forward. And these little techniques you can use in every single part of your life. So I would like you guys to write them down and practice them. Whenever you find yourself overthinking, like, oh shit, what can I try today? Oh, I'll ask this person for help because I don't know what the hell is going on. Or, oh man, I'm being overwhelmed. Let me take a step back and realize what's actually going on. I'm going to be fine. Okay, cool. Let me dive back in. We made these things are simple for a reason so that we can actually get them done. When things are too complex, well, we start to overthink and then we don't get anything done.
Yep. We will definitely put these in a little document so you guys can have them afterwards, right? If you are taking notes, take a step back method. I like to say, when in doubt, zoom out. Get a 30,000-foot view on your life and ask yourself, what's important right now? I love when Derek said, ground yourself, breathe. How many of you today intentionally stopped? How many of you today got overwhelmed, even just a little bit at one point? Yes or no? In the chat. Okay. So it happens. Did you stop intentionally and take a breath? No. So our heart rate rises, our blood pressure rises, we aren't able to think, we aren't able to use all of our senses. And what happens? We lose 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. And then we stress ourselves out more because we didn't take action to slow down. Doing less is taking action sometimes too. An action-oriented approach, make a plan, Again, back to breathing, back to grounding yourself, back to asking yourself, what's important now? Why am I here? Feedback loop. If you have a coach with us at Hidden Summit and you're not asking them questions, you can ask me. You can email me, cavan@hiddensummitgroup.com, and I will answer you. We are here to help you. The Facebook group is here to help you. Feedback doesn't mean you're going to hear what you want. You're going to hear something that's going to help you move forward. I gave feedback to someone yesterday, a company that I work with. All right, that I did work with. I left working with them, and we're customers with them. And a friend of mine happens to be the CEO. And I was like, "Hey, man, good to see you. You got 5 minutes? I want to chat with you." I don't really see him. He lives in Texas. I live in Florida. And I was like, "Look, man, I just want to let you know, like, the onboarding process was really good with your company, and we are happy with the product, but there was very little follow-up and zero customer service after the sale was made." Now, how did that make me feel when we spent like 10 grand with them, right? Not good. Does it make me want to continue working with them? Not really. So we went through the weekend. He messaged me back yesterday and he was like, "Hey, man, I want to let you know I appreciate the feedback. I can take it." And that was awesome to hear, because he said, "You are the most important part of why I do this." And that goes for you guys too. Ask questions, give feedback, take feedback, use it to move yourself forward. Visualization. It doesn't have to be this like life-changing journey. Ask her where it is. Is where you are where you want to be? And if it isn't, what's one thing you can do to visualize where you're going to go? Speak as if it's already been done. Imagine if you said you do the things that you want to do instead of wishing for them. What would that do for your mindset and your ability to take action? Probably move you in a positive direction, right? Time management. If you saw my calendar, it looks like Skittles threw up on it. It's like everything's blocked off. I don't get anxious about it. It's like, I know what I need to do when I need to do it, and that's it. And if nothing's on there, I can do nothing, and it's totally okay. Or I can do more if I want to. Do you guys do that? I'm not saying do my method, but do what works for you. If you're not seeing the results that you want to see and you're stuck in your head and shoulda, woulda, coulda, wish, life's not fair bullshit, take a second after this call and make a schedule about what it is you want to get done tomorrow and put it on there. The likelihood of you doing it increases that much more. Use these tools. I want to talk about this. I got 2 more parts. I'll go through it quickly for you. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. You guys liking this? Yes or no in the chat? You still with me? All right. Heaven likes it. Heaven's always the first person to answer in the chat. So we went over the solutions on how to get over overthinking and start overachieving. But what are the benefits, the positive outcome of overcoming overthinking? First thing I want to talk about is enhanced productivity. Put me in the chat if you would like to achieve more in less time. Some hands in the air. Hopefully there's 60 plus me's in there. If you don't, we can talk about it after. I'll wait. I love it. So the positive outcome in overcoming overthinking and how we enhance productivity is by reducing mental barriers. Meaning, get out of your own fucking way. No one else matters but what it is that you do for you. Okay? When all you do is act, you're setting yourself up for success. Because even if you fuck up and fail, you will learn a lesson and grow because you're taking action on something that you care about. We thought about it that way. Did you guys know that Derek and I started Hidden Summit before the pandemic? We were like, we have a great idea. We created a business, we got an LLC, and we did nothing with it. But when we had no noise in our life, we were able to create Hidden Summit and actually see what the problem was and form a solution and take action on that because there was no other noise around us. I had a gut instinct that said the world needed community, needed positivity, needed something that wasn't the noise that was happening. And I didn't have much else to do because of what was happening. So I asked myself, why not us? Why not now? And started a Facebook group. And then I started going live. And then I started running challenges, 21-day challenges, 8-week challenges. Then I started getting on one-on-one calls. Then spam number. And after I started doing these one-on-one calls, geez, sorry guys, I got furloughed. I had no income. In the past life, I would have said that's not fair. Current me had his back up against the wall, and I decided to get out of town during the middle of a global pandemic and figure out how was I going to continue to make this thing happen. Because at the time I had a cushy job and I was still getting paid. So I moved to St. Louis for a month and surrounded myself with the wonderful people at First Form who I care about deeply, who are A players and hard ass workers. And it was great to be around them. And I was going to figure out a way to get enough clients so I can come back home and continue building Hidden Summit. Mind you, we were about to buy a house at the time. So internally, I was freaking out. But with that same attitude that we're presenting to you today and going over all of the different things, I took a step back. I took a breath. I asked, what's important now? I formed a plan. I took action on that plan and went away and I worked on that thing until I had enough clients so I can come back and do this full time because I believed in it. Now, do you guys believe in whatever it is that you're thinking about? Like, do you want to lose fat? Do you want to get stronger? Do you want to get faster? Do you want to travel more? Do you want to have a bigger bank account? Do you want to, follow your passion plan? Whatever it is, do you believe in it? Does it matter to you? Even if you're trying to, that means that you're thinking about it enough to make it mean something to you. And what I want for you is to take a little bit of action on that by enhancing productivity and focusing on that one thing. You don't have to do everything at once. You can take it on one little bite at a time. When we overcome overthinking, what also increases is the ability for us to have this emotional well-being. So remember when I spoke about chronic stress and emotional stress? The opposite happens. So experiencing reduced stress and increasing happiness by freeing oneself from the chains of overthinking. Still, at this time, when the business was seeing such great success, I had this disconnect at home. Things were not good. Business was great, but my personal life was in ruins, and I didn't share it. If you know the Enneagram, I'm a type 8. I just stuff all my feelings inside and I don't like to be vulnerable. I'm getting better at it because I'm getting healthier. Has anyone ever felt this way? Like work is crushing it, but home life's a wreck, or home life is great and work is a wreck. So you're like getting pulled in all these different directions. Well, when we start to take action, when we stop overthinking, we can make a choice to move in a positive direction so our emotional well-being can be balanced in both areas. So I was feeling the high life at work. Hidden Summit was rocking. I was loving it. But when I shut my laptop down for the day, I still felt alone inside my own home. I had concerns about this and had a conversation with myself about it. What was best? Do I stay? Do I go? Do we try and work this out? Do I leave? I convinced myself, anybody ever talked to themselves before? I convinced myself things are going to get better. And for moments it might, but ultimately it didn't for me. So one night, my ex and I decided to go to dinner. And it was a pleasant dinner, one that we had not had in a very long time. The next day, I was set to go away with Derek and our other brother, Owen, and our significant others. to the mountains and hang. However, the next morning I was getting ready to start my day and she was going to work, and she said, "That's it, we're done. It's over." Mind you, I was like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna pack the car tonight." And she's like, "No, we're done. I don't want to do this thing." What? Okay. So that was like this emotional ride in the moment, right? It was really hard to zoom out, breathe, feel out my surroundings. Have you ever been there before? Like you just get hit and you're like, I can't think. I don't know what's happening. Why is this happening? You know, mind you, remember what I just said? Like I had been thinking about this like for 2 years. It had not been good. But like one dinner doesn't make this better. So I went on the trip anyway, and I decided to go alone. And Derek, I don't know if you remember this or not, but like I went up a day and a half early, so I had time by myself. Now, I don't know if a past me that didn't see the success and the growth in that time with business and health would have been able to be alone in those moments. However, it was the very best thing I could have done. Why? Because it gave me the time to breathe, to think, to ground myself, to put myself in a position to ask myself, what's important now? And the answer was me. I was able to hike. I was able to meditate. I was able to breathe. I was able to slow my thoughts. And it wasn't all this perfect moments. Like I'm not this like magician who just gets over things right away. But although the weekend didn't go as planned, it was the most incredible and most valuable weekend of my life because I saw for the first time how valuable I was and what I could do for me. I saw how I can improve communication with the people that I care about and lean into the people that supported me and wanted me to succeed. The long story short, like that one door closing opened up the door for me to be exactly here in front of you today. And maybe you've had this dark time. Maybe you've had this difficult time. Maybe you feel like that's life pushing you in a direction of like diminishing returns. But the truth is, you are capable of doing whatever it is that you want. And I challenge you to slow down in those moments, to ask, like, what's important now? And how do I figure this out for me? What can I take action on right now? So another thing that happened after that was improved relationships, clear communication and understanding by being present and reducing unnecessary naiveness, unnecessary stress. This allowed me to be the most authentic version of myself that I had ever been. I chose to act on it immediately. I didn't dwell. I knew what it was like to be alone because the truth is we just lived under the same roof for over 2 years. And, I said, whoever would come into my life next would get the entire me, the good, the bad, the ugly. They would be like, because like at that point, I'm 35 years old. I'm like, hey, this is what you got. This is what I do. This is what I'm dealing with. This is where I want to go. And walks in Lacey. And I'm telling you, if I wasn't myself, if I didn't open up and say, like, I just got out of a 10-year relationship, this is what I'm going through. You don't have to talk to me about this right now. And I was like, I want to talk to you right now, but hey, let's just take it one conversation at a time. Let's be present. I looked at who I was and took action on that and didn't say like, oh, I'm not worth it. I'm not valuable. I'm no good. I said, I probably could have been a better communicator. Maybe we got together too early. I'm okay now. My business is growing. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm more focused on the future than I've ever been. And then walk the person that I was meant to be with. Weird, right? So when we overcome overthinking, another benefit is achieving goals, successfully reaching personal and professional milestones by focusing on action over endless contemplation. Stop contemplating anything. Like there's no fucking point. Will it matter 2 weeks from now? Will it matter 100 years from now when no one remembers who you are? Probably not. Life is short. Since that time, I've been able to be more passionate about my work. And you guys have been able to see that. My training has been less stressful, and I've become more fit at 36, going to be 37 real soon, than I've ever been. Okay? And my personal life is amazing. I am so fortunate, so blessed to be in this relationship because we are two adults who have experienced life and understand who we are and have taken action on the things that we want. It's not about the bad things. It's about what we do with the life to make our life the best it can possibly be. The last thing I want to talk about here is the increased confidence that comes along with that. Does anybody here struggle with confidence in any area of their life? Can anybody stand naked in front of the mirror and look at themselves for 5 minutes without looking away? Does anybody look at their bank account and go, you know what? I'm good. Increased confidence doesn't have to do with just physical self or just your finances or just your emotions or just your mindset. There's no doubt I have my moments too. And I still have setbacks, but I don't let those define me. We circle back to building the ideal human, patient, tough, and positive. I like to feel that through these experiences, I've become more tough. I'm definitely more patient now than when I was 300 pounds and a whiny little baby. And I'm very positive. Not many people can rub me in a negative light anymore. And the thing is, I'm always working towards being that avatar. It never ends. It's this endless and infinite game. And I want that for you. Do you guys want that for you? Do you want the benefits? We understand the solutions? So let me wrap with this little reverse psychology for you. If you never want to achieve anything in life, do the following, okay? Continue to diminish your quality of life. Continue to stress yourself out and be dissatisfied from lack of productivity. Then do nothing about it. Or instead, allow your actions to lead to achievement, which will impact overall happiness and well-being. Number 2, celebrate your stunted growth. Live by the term, life's not fair, and continue to complain about your lack of personal and professional development due to inaction in your life by your choice, for you and only you. Or make a change that scares the shit out of you, because the worst thing that can happen is that you'll learn a lesson and you'll have more information to get a little bit closer to that place that you want to be. And last, almost last, my notes. Continue compromising the relationships you know you need. Continue misunderstanding and conflicts with loved ones and colleagues are normal. Never communicate with them, though. Never communicate thoroughly and keep your thoughts bottled up on the inside. Or talk to them about it. Like Derek said, ask questions, get feedback, unemotional feedback, and ask if they have space to communicate about important issues. And last but not least, if you want to live that stunted, miserable, overthinking life, settle for your unfulfilled potential. Never realize or achieve your true potential due to self-imposed barriers. Or take a fucking chance on yourself. Can you guys do that? Can you guys take a chance on yourself? Yes or no? I got Claudia headbanging over here. She's pumped. She's already drawing, painting. Amazing. So Derek and I have something for you. Do you want to see it? Yes or no? I got Misty's thumb in the air, Caitlin's thumb in the air. I need 60 yeses in here before I share it with you. Otherwise, nobody gets it. Amazing. Let me set this up. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. For you today, you're going to have a chance to get the Hidden Summit Peak Performance Blueprint. It's what we've created so you can stop overthinking and have more tools to get exactly where it is that you want to go with mindset, nutrition, and movement. We guarantee that in 8 weeks, you will achieve elevated strength, accelerated fat loss, clarity of mind around mindset, nutrition, and movement, and overall wellness. You guys want overall wellness? Anybody on this call want overall wellness? Got the chat up now. Now I can see. Kenzie does. You're crushing it. Let's go. Okay. In our peak performance blueprint, you guys are going to unlock your full potential by reimagining your strength, rediscovering some mental clarity, and revitalizing your wellness. No more overthinking, taking action. You guys said you wanted it, and I want you to have it. So we made it for you, and now you're going to get it. You're going to get lifetime access to the Peak Performance Blueprint and every edition that goes in these categories. Okay? It's an 8-week guided course, but it doesn't mean that the information goes stale. You're going to be able to use this and all of the additional videos that we add to this moving forward. Mindset, nutrition, and movement videos, daily live videos, weekly workbooks, organized outlines, workshops, accountability homework. Sound like some good tools for you guys to stop overthinking, start taking action, seeing more progress in less time? Yes or no? Thank you, Heaven. Amazing. This could be yours for $1,999.97. But if that's not enough for you guys to see the changes that you want to see in your life, I'm guaranteeing that you see these changes, and if you don't, I'll give you your money back. What we're going to add in is lifetime access to Hidden Summit University plus 2 months of live calls. That's our mindset huddles, our nutrition talks, and our level 2 calls. If you've not been on one of those calls, and if you have been on one of those calls, please share with the group how much you like them, because I think they're amazing. They're what we do that no one else does. And if you haven't been on those calls, you don't know what you're missing. We're also going to add in our entire ebook collection, which is a $299 value and 97 cents. So now your total value for the Peak Performance Blueprint, 8 weeks of training and mindset, nutrition, and movement, 8 weeks of homework, exclusive webinars, the HSRC speakers are going to be in there, the mindset huddles and nutrition talks, the level 2 calls, and 6 ebooks, including Healthy Not Boring, Family Eating, Mindful Munchies, Your Step Your Way to Success, Never Diet Again, Don't Fear Fat, and Own Your Thoughts will be yours for $36.99.88. I'm also going to give you guys our full body flex workout program, plus our simple shredding guide, which if you hadn't seen the results that we posted, people are fucking crushing it. These are video guided, okay? Flexible eating, no more tracking. It's $599.94 for the 2 of these if you were to buy them separately, plus everything else, $42.99.82. Plus, you're going to get 2 months of guided coaching because I don't think you should do this alone. So you're going to have someone to check in with who gives you feedback, because we said that's so important, and someone you can ask questions to because we said that's so important. So we can set up a plan because we said that's so important so you can see more progress over time. $299.97, $45.99.79. Plus, we just launched our new training program, so you get daily workouts for strength, skill, sculpt, sweat, and stretching. 2 months of this. It's a $99.97 value, so that brings everything to $46.99.76. And you're also going to get a power hour, meaning you get to sit down with myself or one of the Hidden Summit experts to go over your metabolic stress blueprint and figure out what's happening to you from the inside out. This hour call plus this assessment would run you by itself $299.94. but you get it right now with everything else for $49.99.70. So you're going to get everything. Peak Performance Blueprint, the lifetime access to Hidden Summit University, plus 2 months of live calls. Hidden Summit ebook collection, 2 months of guided coaching, full body flex, simple shredding, S5 training, 1 power hour, and $299.94. It's $5,000 for you guys. But since you showed up today, I'm going to give it to you guys for free.
For free.
For free.
$0.
For free. $0.
Yep. I love free shit too.
You guys are incredible. You guys get all of it. You're going to get Peak Performance Blueprint. It's 8 weeks of training, chapters, units, videos, homework, guides. The whole team worked on this for months, and it's yours. You're going to get access to the mindset huddles and nutrition talks, the level 2 calls. You're going to get S5 training. You're going to get all of our ebooks. You're going to get a power hour with one Hidden Summit expert. You're going to take your stress blueprint, and everything else that I went through is yours for free. You guys want that? Because I want you to win. Derek and I want you to fucking win. And all you need to know is that you got to take action. Stop getting in your own way. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm just a normal kid. I'm the same normal kid that grew up to the next to the other normal kid that talks to you about becoming a Navy SEAL. I want that for you. I want you to win. And that's how we're going to do it. So Heaven's going to drop a link in the chat, and all you got to do is fill out that form, and you're going to get set up with everything. Okay? Heaven, you got that link? Q Heaven types first in every chat. Doesn't send the link on time. Just kidding. Love you. My goal is with all of this is to have you guys succeed. But when you go and open this up, it doesn't do it for you. So when you fill this out, you have an opportunity to do something that we've never done before and see success and have access to all of it. Whether you're working with us or already and you have a coach or not, like, take advantage of this. This is for everybody. This is how we change the world. By bringing you something fucking amazing so you see your life change and you can go live the life that you dreamed of. Shelby, just sign up. Like you sign in and you'll be able to use everything. Like it's like you don't have access to the Peak Performance Blueprint. You may not have all the ebooks. You probably wouldn't pay $200 for a power hour with your coach, right? Like you will have access to these things. Because the goal is like, cool, like could I sell this for $5,000? Yeah, I probably could. I'm pretty good at selling. But I'd rather see you guys take action with this, because if you do it and you bring us 5 people who then want to change their lives and they do it for free, like we start to change the world. Because the world is pretty fucked up. There are so many people that are, everybody on this call said they deal with overthinking. Everybody on this call said they go in their own way. And you guys are doing 100,000 times more than everybody else who doesn't even know this call exists. So that's what I want for you. I want you to win. I want you to go and download it. Evan will keep posting the link because it's going to get lost in the chat. Because you only have 30 minutes to do this. Then the offer goes away. So, with that in mind, we've been on here for a very long time. If you have any questions, you can email me directly, Cavan at hiddensummitgroup.com. Oops, wrong. It's 8:43. I'll give you guys until 9:15. And then we'll take it away. Sound good? You guys happy with this? Derek, any closing remarks?
Yeah. Remember, guys, stop thinking so much. Take action. One little trick I've used for a very long time whenever I find myself overthinking, whether I'm scared or whatever it is, just say to myself, 3, 2, 1, fuck it. And I just do it. All right. So stop thinking so much. Do what you got to do. Take action. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to be where you are now. Cool. You're already there and it's not so bad. So give it a shot.
And if your phone number isn't working, put in your email address and you can put in another number. If not, you can email me, Cavan at hiddensummitgroup.com, and I'll make sure that you get signed up. Okay, we'll take care of you. All right. Appreciate you guys. Here's a link one more time. I am going to leave this here. So if anybody's thinking about signing up for free and getting this $5,000 worth of product in the next now 14 minutes, I'll leave it. But everybody else, we'll see you next time. Sound good? I appreciate you. Thank you for hopping on. Make a choice for you and go change your life for the better. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you taking the time tonight.